Do you know Oiran? Oiran was a top yujo, our prostitute in the Yoshiwara Yukaku in the Edo period. Yukaku was a traditional red light district in Japan. It is said Oiran was not only the number one yujo, but also very popular among the common people. Before, we Japanese admired top prostitutes. So today, I'll talk about Oiran. Meshida jokes about Japan. Hey guys, it's Meshida. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a comedian and I introduce funny Japanese culture. If you are interested in that, please subscribe to my channel.
Meshida.
Yoshiwara was the most famous yukaku, our red light district in Japan. In 1603, the Tokugawa shogunate moved the capital from Kyoto to Edo, our Tokyo. So, Edo's population increased rapidly, but 2/3 of the population were men. Many yujo moved to Edo and started their businesses. Then, a licensed yukaku called Yoshiwara was created in Edo. Almost 300 years before the Netherlands legalized prostitution, Japan made an area for legal prostitution. Believe it or not, in the Edo period, we were very forward-thinking. At that time, the famous yukaku were Yoshiwara yukaku in Edo, Shinmachi yukaku in Osaka, and Shimabara yukaku in Kyoto. They were called the top 3 yukaku. Nowadays, it would be Kabukicho in Tokyo, Tsukino in Hokkaido, and Nakasu in Fukuoka. They are called the top 3 hentai street.
Meshida.
Oiran were ranked top in the Yoshiwara yukaku. There were many categories of yujo, and just only a few top yujo were called oiran. If a man wanted to engage an oiran, they also had to pay for their food, sake, and tips. It cost from 3 million to 5 million yen for one night. Oiran were all men's dream women. There were almost 3,000 yujo in Yoshiwara in its heyday, but in the early days, there were only 3 oiran. The top few oiran earned most of the money. In Yoshiwara, they were like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. Nowadays, technology sells better than sex.
Meshida.
If a man wanted to be served by an oiran, they needed to meet her at least 3 times. The first time, you could only meet without talking. The second time, you could have a dinner and talk with the oiran. The third time, if she accepted you, you could go to a private room with her. Even though men paid a lot, if the oiran didn't like someone, she refused to sleep with him. I think most of the Japanese women I've been on a date with must have been descended from oiran. This is like the marriage system at that time. First time meeting, second time engagement, third time marriage. Even 300 years ago, we Japanese men enjoyed role-playing in brothels.
Meshida.
There were many rules in Yoshiwara. If you wanted to be a loyal customer, you had to follow the rules. Otherwise, you couldn't engage upper class yujo. After entering the Yoshiwara gate, first you had to go to the tea house and choose a yujo and negotiate the price with the staff. Then they ordered food and drink and waited until the yujo came. Most men ordered a lot of food and drink to show their generosity. As a result, many men went bankrupt.
Meshida.
The most important rule was that once you had chosen a woman and enjoyed yourself together, you couldn't choose another yujo. In Yoshiwara, they were not allowed to cheat. If a man cheated on their yujo, they had to pay a fine or be punished. The customer had to love just only one yujo. The role play of marriage in Yoshiwara was closer to real marriage than actual married life.
Meshida.
There was a famous punishment for men who couldn't pay the fee. It was okebuse. They were locked inside a wooden barrel on the street and displayed to passerby. They had to live there until their family paid their debts. They could get food, but they had to go to the toilet in the barrel. So it was very tough and smelly punishment.
Meshida.
Most yujo were taking on the debts of their parents and sold to Yoshiwara when they were kids. Since they were kids, they learned a lot of things in order to entertain upper class men. For example, waka, Chinese poetry, koto, tea ceremony, calligraphy, shamisen, and traditional board games. So, Upper class Yujo studied hard and they were well educated. Not only in the bed, they also entertained customers using their intelligence. Nowadays, some famous female university students who made it through the fiercely competitive university entrance examinations work in the sex industry to pay their expensive tuition and support their parents. They are very popular in the industry as intelligent college students. Our traditions are never forgotten.
飯だ
One of the famous events in Yoshiwara was the Oiran Dochu or Oiran journey. When an Oiran was requested, she walked to the tea house with her juniors and staff. Many people gathered and watched the Oiran, who was top of the usual. It was like a fashion show. Oiran fashion influenced girls in Edo. They imitated Oiran's hair and the way she wore kimono. Oiran fascinated not only men, but also women. At that time, instead of supermodels, super prostitutes lead the Japanese fashion industry. But it says that as more time passed, Yoshiwara's unique culture began to disappear and the area was becoming more common. Before, Yoshiwara was not the kind of place where you just play and had fun. The men tried to act smart and enjoy Yoshiwara's unique culture. For men, Yoshiwara was a dreamland like Disneyland. But for the usual, Yoshiwara was a prison, same as Disneyland staff. They have to work under a very bad contract.
飯だ
Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. So see you soon. Bye bye.